swear I do not believe it. And they are back on terms.
Happy New Year. Welcome to New York Talk, where we have, well, Rotherham played, so it's a win to talk about, as you'd expect. Bolton Wanderers were the latest victims at New York Stadium. We'll go through the game, Ian Everett's complaints, you know, the standard type of thing whenever Bolton play a game. Mick is with me. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
Benjamin's back with us as well for the last time for a little while.
Hello.
And Danny is with us as well. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing today?
Not bad. Did we all have a nice new year?
Yeah. I mean, I think I can speak for most people when we say we got horribly drunk. But no, good new year. Yeah.
Ben, horribly drunk?
No. I ain't got horribly drunk.
It's not like you.
Oh, you mean horribly drunk on sweets? Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.
I got drunk for me because I'm an extreme lightweight.
You know what, Ben? I'll commend you for that. Most people don't admit that, so you know, bravo.
Indeed. Mick, anything interesting from your new year?
No, mate. I just
Got back and knocked back bevies, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a few beers and sat there being hellish disappointed at Jules Holland and his garbage hootenanny this year. Very disappointing. But anyway, you know, what can you do?
Very old thing to say that.
Yeah, man.
That is a really old thing to say. To be fair.
Well, there might be a reason behind that.
Ben, but...
Can I just say I've recently seen Mick get angry at a bird landing on his garden. I think he's turning very old.
Brilliant. Yeah. But I have told her about it loads of times and she still keeps doing it.
Fantastic. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, so let's get on with everything. Steve Adams, as a happy new year from North Wales. I'm not going to attempt the Welsh version of that he's put because I'll make us all look stupid. Matthew Hepsonall, happy new year. Harvey Kellett's with us. Evening, lads. A great win yesterday. So yeah, let's crack on with the first win of 2022. Get the ball rolling with 3 points. But Mick, it's a bit like the Burton game and a bit like the Gillingham game. Not brilliant.
No. And to be fair, if you listen to Ian Everett, he was quite dangerous, apparently.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. But yeah, it was tough game that yesterday. Really, really tough game. But we've said it before, you've got to, you know, we've won beautifully at times this season. You've got to win ugly as well. And we dug in yesterday and proved that we can do it. So yeah, I mean, you've got to be happy with that. You've got to be happy with that result, if not the performance.
Yeah. David Jones is a Bolton fan. How Rotherham are top of the league is beyond him.
Well, I think we should address that because he's got a point.
If you want to buy it, you can buy it.
No, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it.
What's wrong about that? If you're a Bolton or Accrington fan, I'm wondering that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly,
listen, 100%.
I agree with him.
I listen. I can't disagree with what he's put there because we said that on this podcast. Well, I don't know how many times for the last month, maybe, that the performances have really not been up to scratch. They've been really quite disappointing performances in terms of quality. But you can't. We're talking about League One football clubs here. You know, you're not going to have quality every single game. The key to it is when you're not playing to your best, still being able to grind out those results. So I have a certain amount of sympathy for what David says there and what some of the Accrington fans said, you know, following our game there. There are times when I look at us and think, I can't believe we're top at league. But then I realise how crap everybody else is. So it just kind of brings it around, you know what I mean?
What I will say to David is we played Bolton at their place and we're comfortably the better team. We were it was a 2-0, almost a 2-0 batter. I know they had the chances, but we were very good that day. So swings and roundabouts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As Paul wants in his post-match, we've reached the magic 50 points, so we are not going to get relegated. Pretty safe. Return to the top of the league now. I think it's a point ahead of Sunderland, having played the same amount of games. I think that's right. But we are 5 points ahead of Wigan, but they have 3 games in hand. But it's all about points on the board. I've heard this said by other people. I agree. This season and last season, all about having the points on the board. So let's go back to the start of the game, Danny. Ian Evatt said before the game that they were in bare bones. They managed to fill a full bench, and I recognised a significant number of their players. Owen Doyle, Afolayan, Kachunga played. That big guy at back with Sanchez. Ricardo Santos. They were a good team, and that was as difficult as I would have expected if they had a full strength 11.
Yeah, I think it also puts it down to, we correctly guessed it was a little bit mind gamey. For me and Evatt. Because the way he described like them being bare bones, I was expecting them only to have 4 substitutes and one of them being a keeper, like we had with Gillingham. So I was quite surprised to see a full bench. And the way he described their COVID, the COVID in their camp, I expected us to turn out in hazmat suits. That's how bad I thought it was. But no, the players you've mentioned, they played brilliantly for Bolton. I think they were a little bit fueled by the desire to still put in a good shift, even though they were in a reduced state of fitness, shall we say. But yeah, Santos were brilliant at the back for them. He marshalled Smith so well. And I think the only time it really upset him was that when he just sort of lost his bearings a little bit. You know, like, and he wasn't marking Smith for the first goal, and Smith, probably on the rarest occasion of the game, got beyond him and then scored the second. But no, Santos was good. Doyle up front was good. He was always a danger for our back line, who at times didn't look like they could deal with him, to be honest. I think the only player we kept sort of quiet was, you said it was Afolayan?
I think, I'm not sure it's Afolayan or Offalayan.
And then was 17, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I can sort of say, all right, he's play acted a little bit for some of the fouls that he's won. Did look dangerous on the odd occasion, but I think we relatively kept him quiet. I think it basically comes down to, we matched Bolton better at their place, and we were lucky they were a bit depleted at our place. I think we can put it down to that, I think.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it, to be honest with you. I said I enjoyed it. I really didn't enjoy it until the 70-something minute. A few other points that will come before we talk about the game a bit more. Russ Bailey, some of Bolton tactics yesterday, as you know. But even the keeper pulling off a good save, down to his right, staying down injured. I mean, come on the top of numerous time wastings. We've got the job done at the end of the day, irrespective of all the shenanigans. Absolutely.
Their keeper got some abuse from the North Stand.
I should think he did.
Lord. Oh, my days. I mean, I'm meant to be a respectable, well, semi-respectable journalist, and even I were giving the keeper some stuff. Oh, my days. And when referee finally booked him, I'm gutted because you can't see it on the match replay footage on iFollow. I'm stood up applauding the referee like he's just given an award to somebody. Like, oh, dear. Bolton's tactics, like Russ says, you could tell what they were going to be from more or less the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they did do it very effectively. And then they changed the tactics when they conceded, and then they scored straight away. And then sat on it again. So you can see what their tactics were, but thankfully we broke through. And I think that is showing that we still have the resilience to break teams down, even when we're not at our best. And I think that's why we are probably top of the league.
I think so. So we'll talk about the goals. There's a couple of other points we'll come to in a minute, but I like Bolton's tactics. But let's talk about the first goal to start with, Ben. Me, you and Mick all came down together yesterday listening to the radio. I'm listening to Radio Sheffield. Now, I will say in their defence, I don't think anybody else was playing yesterday, so they had to cover a full hour, basically, with the Rotherham United before the kickoff. And Michael Smith wasn't getting stick, I suppose, Mickey. Stick's not the right word, is it? From Ronnie Moore and Rob Staten, but I don't think sticks. They were discussing.
It was the right word.
Let me. Feel.
I don't know why we had it on in the car. To be honest with you, I have to turn it off.
Let me just go through it, Ben. Chill out, calm down. They were talking about Michael Smith's recent goal scoring record, which I think was 2 in 9 before yesterday, and they were talking about him as if he was Alfie, who'd not scored 2 in 9. for example, which would be a bit slightly concerned because Alfie gets you those goals. If he's getting 2 in 9, he's probably not doing his job right. And obviously, they'll admit it. Michael Smith's a different beast. If Michael Smith's getting 2 in 9, that's not far off where we expect him to be. What I will say is, to back Ronnie up, Ronnie's a much better striker than we will ever be. So he's probably got a better idea of a striker's mindset. But Ben, Michael Smith had a good game. Danny mentions that Santos at that were a beast. And Michael Smith held his own and got his 2 goals as a just reward.
I think Michael Smith played the same as he does every single game, if I'm being honest. I don't think he played any better. I don't think he played any worse. People just think he plays better because he scored 2 goals, because that's all the striker's job is, apparently, according to a lot of people, including people on the radio yesterday. That's all a striker's job is. It's not. You can't ask a goldfish to climb a tree, can you? That's not his job. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
I haven't heard that phrase for a while.
Yeah,
Good
no.
Lord.
Is that another
American tree?
I don't know. But you know what I'm trying to say? That's not Smith's job. And it's funny because Michael Smith, I can't remember the first goal, but the second goal, Michael Smith scored a goal, which he's apparently not very good at scoring goals, from a player who crossed it in, who apparently can't cross it in. So, all right. Chio can't cross one, got an assist. Smith can't score, and he scored. All right, whatever. All these people know exactly what they're on about and aren't wrong at all.
Are you wrong, ever?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not wrong here. Michael Smith is the best player in League One and the Championship, and if he gets 1 goal for the rest of the season, I don't care, because I know he's going to do his job, which is not score goals.
Yeah, he needs to chip in. And
he's chipping. He's got 2 yesterday. So now he's got 4 in 10. So they can all shut up.
I understand the point that they're making. Some people don't. Strikers always to score goals in the end. I get the point. But
I don't.
Smithy does bring more to the game than just goals. He absolutely does.
It brings more to the game than any striker in the English league. If you exclude goals.
Might be a
if you exclude goals. If you exclude goals, he brings more to any striker in the Football League, I think.
The thing is with... Go on.
I was just going to say, we're talking about 2 people in Rob Staten and Ronnie Moore, who both have been around football for many, many years. And with the greatest respect to the pair of them, what they were saying yesterday was it was almost as though they were trying to create a story, and they both know better. They both know what Michael Smith brings to this team. And what Michael brings to this team is not necessarily... Michael Smith brings to this team is not necessarily goals. The goals are just an added bonus to what he brings. And they both know that. And it just felt as though, like you said, maybe they were just filling time. I don't know, but that it was just like trying to make a story up. Let's get something buzzing on social media that Smith is no good, or I don't know whether I'm pretty sure there was a comment in there that is this something to do with January transfer window and he wants to leave and his mind's been put somewhere else. What an absolute load of rubbish! There's nothing to suggest that might be the case whatsoever. So why say it? Why say it? Why create on a? But the thing is, man, why create on a local radio station that's listened to by so many fans? Why create that sort of rumor? Because essentially, that's what's going to happen. It's going to create a rumor unnecessarily so. And like I say, with the greatest respect, absolutely, hand on heart, the greatest respect to both Ronnie and Rod Staten. I thought that was a really, really, really poor article or whatever.
You've got to bear in mind when players score so many goals like Smith's done, it instantly puts not a target on the back, but it instantly puts that, right, is this going to carry on forever? So when it does slow down, the questions might have to go in. But then I agree, you've got to look at the other side of the game as well, but you're still allowed to question whether his goal scoring record is going to continue or not. You're wrong. You shouldn't criticise him because, again, he does other things. But I think it's okay to question. I agree, Mick. I don't think it was done in the best way. But Danny, I assume you didn't hear this on the way down because you didn't. But what are your thoughts on what we've said?
I think from a journalist point of view, you have to consider it is very hard to fill an hour's worth of airtime on one topic when the other ones have dropped out, because Wednesday and Donny played today, both lost. Sheffield United's game got called off, so it was just left. And did Barnsley get called
Barnsley
off?
play tomorrow.
Barnsley play tomorrow, right? Okay, so to fill in our preview show of just one team, it does sort of limit your talking point, really, and you sort of have to clutch at straws. So if you can pull out January transfer rumours, because we've just come into January and it fills your hour, you're generally going to do it. And even though, like you say, maybe it wasn't conducted in the best way, and maybe they didn't consider that Smith isn't our goal-scoring outlet, even though he scored the most goals this season, because that's not the type of striker that he is. We all know what type of striker he is, but for the sake of an hour's worth of airtime, you're going to say, oh, well, he's hit a dry patch, he's not going to carry on. You sort of have to... It's one of them things where you take one topic, like you say, Mick, and create news out of it. It's sort of like what the BBC do with the COVID pandemic. When everything isn't going really, really badly, they sort of pick at straws and then talk about that. And obviously, Rob and Ronnie have done that just to fill the hour. Like I said, they are very respectable. Ronnie is a better striker than any other will ever be.
Combined, probably.
Yeah, combined. Rob is a very experienced journalist who has done the rounds quite a lot and hosted our end of season review show. Yes. So it's one of them things where they sort of have to do it as the professional and not as the how do I describe it? They have to do it as the professional journalist, as not as like the fan entertainment outlet, if that makes sense. So for me, Rob's just done his job, and that's like underline that, and then just move on from it. Even though we'll disagree with it, with the type of content they created, if that makes sense. He's done his job. He's done his hours preview on a very limited topic base. They've got to the game and then they've commented on it, and off they go. But like you say, in terms of the type of player Michael Smith is, Ben, he's one of them players where he's not necessarily an excelling player in one department, but he's very good in all of them. He's a very well-rounded striker. He can be your target man. He can be your hold-up player. He can be your goal-scoring outlet. He can be your assister. He can be the provider on the edge of the box. So he's got that bubble around him that makes him a very good player, but he doesn't excel at one thing. And I think that's why he is more open to criticism and praise. If you take someone like Ladipo, for example, when he's not scoring goals, it's an immediate criticism because he's a goal-scoring outlet player. But when Smith's not doing it, it's like, well, he's doing other things. He's been providing assists during his dry spell. He's been setting up goals during his dry spell. And now he's back in the goals. And so hopefully that boosts his confidence and he can crack on a bit more with goals as well. And win his Shearer shirt, finally. Come on, Smith.
What's that, 17 for the season? Just incredible numbers. Incredible numbers. We love him. I think it's nothing short to say. We absolutely love him. So let's move on. Let's not move on. Let's stay with Michael Smith. Let's start with the first goal, Mick. And heap praise on Shane Ferguson. I came away from the game yesterday a little bit. I'll give me words. I had a little bit of not a pop at Shane Ferguson, but I'm watching him sometimes. I'm frustrated to get at the man sometimes. But then I sit back and watch everything. You watch Johnny's vlog, you watch a few more highlights. And he had a good game, didn't he? I felt, looking back now, I felt quite bad. Not that only you two heard me, but I still feel quite bad of saying he didn't have the best game. When looking back, he had a really good game, Shane Ferguson, and the assist for the first goal sums it up.
Yeah, I mean, when you said it, I did wonder if you'd been sat in Ben's seat facing up as a relative pitch. But listen, he is such an experienced player, and he's another one of those players that he can bring a lot to the game, to the table, without you actually seeing or recognising that he's doing it at the time that he's doing it. Many people on social media were asking why he wasn't in the man of the match poll. And I think it's a valid question. He does contribute a hell of a lot. I thought he had an excellent game, an absolutely outstanding game. I thought yesterday, and probably, arguably, did deserve the man of the match award.
Yeah, good header though, Danny. I know Smith had to fight through a few players off, and their players somehow claimed for a foul, but a solid Michael Smith header. First one.
Yeah, I think the whole thing about their players claiming for a foul was immediately put to bed when the club released the live picture from Smith scoring his goal. He is getting climbed on, he's getting pulled left, right, and centre, and somehow he still dug out the header and scored. Freddie looks like he's got wings in the picture because he's just there flying. But no, great header, proper centre forward header. Great cross from Fergie as well. Watching my footage back whilst I was editing the vlog, Fergie can open his legs and run at pace. Good grief. He was so quick down that left-hand side. And Woody's distribution as well. Where's Woody found his distribution? Was he wearing Dan Barlas's boots or something for the game? Woody's distribution were incredible. But yeah, Fergie's assist was on point. Smith said it was on point. It was a very good opening goal, and it settled everybody's nerves for all of 2 minutes, and then Bolton scored.
Yeah, we'll come on to the goal in a minute. Gav Wood mentions what you mentioned, Danny. Make sure you fully analyse Woody's Beckham-esque right foot. Ben, Woody has these moments where he'll turn into just elite players for a minute. He'll be up last man, trying to beat last man for a run forward. He'll be up left wing somehow. And yesterday, he was pinging him out left, right, and centre. Fergie couldn't believe his look at some balls they were getting from Woody.
I mean, who did I say it to? I said it to someone. You can see why he nearly got an England squad. Might have been you.
She said to me, yeah.
He nearly got an England squad as a youngster before his injury. Because he just has minutes of it. It's just ridiculous to watch. And he's just such a good player. Like, some of them were ridiculous, honestly. Just picking them because we sit like right where Ferguson attacks, and we could see it coming. And it's just right in stride. It's perfect, honestly. And then he's just so smart with doing certain fouls as well when he needs to. He's just an all-round such a good player.
You can see how Warne is desperate to have him in the team, can't you?
Yeah. 100%.
Let's talk about the main negative of the game, Mick. The goal, which was scored a couple of minutes after, we really needed a period of time. We needed to get to half time, having not conceded. And maybe it hadn't been coming, but it's a mistake from Victor, where I think is it Doyle that scored it, weren't it?
Yeah.
And it's just got under Victor. I don't know if he's not reacted quick enough or what, but we have to say it's a mistake, unfortunately, don't we?
Yeah, we do, yeah. It's another Wednesday goal, isn't it? You know, very similar in the sense that it's just gone under his body. He's either dove over it, dove too early, or whatever. I don't know, but it's down to him. But you know, that's what happens when you're a goalie, isn't it? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. That's pretty much the end of that conversation, really, isn't it? You know, they've had a shot. Victor's dropped a clanger. They've scored. We move on. There's no point, you know, berating anybody about it because it's not as though every time somebody has a shot, he dives over top of it, is it? You know. So yeah, it was disappointing, and it was disappointing to concede so quickly, like you say, after taking the lead. That's possibly more the issue that we allowed them that opportunity to open that space up so quickly after we'd scored. That's probably an issue that needs addressing rather than the mistake by Victor.
Yeah, it's not anything else where I've got to ask the question, Danny, because it's 2 mistakes this season. But it's not an issue. It is an issue because we've conceded 2 goals from it, but it makes up for it in other ways. He had a good, take that mistake away. Victor had a good game yesterday. He still pulled off some good saves, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And in all honesty, I think he has seen it late. I think he expects Woody to make the block on Doyle turning in the box. And then because that hasn't happened, that sort of caught him out. Yeah. And basically being behind the goal, I can more or less see exactly what he sees, apart from this green thing in the way, which is Victor. But yeah, I think it comes down to more of a defensive error rather than Victor not quite having a strong enough hand for it. Because you can't let a striker turn in the box and shoot, can you? That's like,
especially not Doyle as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Route 1 defending. Do not let the striker turn. But then again, the way Bolton had been using their tactics well, shall we say, Doyle would have gone down in the box if he'd have felt a lick of contact. Probably, anyway. But yeah, so I don't really see Victor at fault for the goal. It's as much of a defensive error as it is the keeper not quite getting a strong enough hand to it. And for me, it was gutting because Victor celebrated with me when we scored, and then to see the look on his face when that went in, oh dear. But then it adds a different aspect to football. If you know him sort of semi-personally, to hear him get a bit of stuff from the fans about his save, you sort of take it heart to heart a little bit, don't you? It's like, well, hang on, that didn't quite deserved. But a lot of the fans in the North Stand went, come on, Victor, good game, second half. You know, it's happened, move on from it, keep going. And second half, he did pull off some very good saves. It's like there was the second shot that he saw really late through the defenders that he's parried out for a corner. Yeah. So I thought that sort of made up for it, if that makes sense. In my opinion, anyway. Might be completely wrong and I might be getting stuff in from fans in the comments, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree almost. Josh Smith agrees here. We've got Victor should have saved the shot, but Woody and Icky were poor, letting Doyle take that turn, take that poor touch and turn and shoot. We'll go on to the second part of the comment in a bit. Frustrating. And it's not like we didn't have time to play badly, did we, between us scoring and them scoring. There was no time to say, we played badly, we let him on to us. It just happened so quickly.
Yeah.
And it was a couple of mistakes that let it happen. So I don't think we can read too much into that spell of the game. But Ben, we can read into the second half of the game where we improved from the first half, but it was still incredibly frustrating up until when Sadlier came on, which is another point which we will talk about. It was a frustrating half, even though we were the better team.
Yeah, I mean, they Wickham does, really.
Big time.
They came to do a job.
That's a term for thesaurus, isn't it? The Wickham does.
They came to do a job and did it well. Not well enough, but they did it well. For 70, however many minutes it was, and I think it killed us, really. I think they genuinely nearly did. I don't think we played bad. I think they did a job on us. We could never get going. I disagree. I thought we were better in first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first 20 minutes, first half an hour, we were dominant. I think we were really on top, and then I think their goal dragged. I think their goal killed everything. I think if it had gone into 0-0 at half time, I think second half it would have been 2-3-0 to us. But I think their goal definitely killed us a little bit.
I'd get that boost as well.
When was the last time we conceded in first half?
I don't know. Don't know about at home. We haven't conceded it first half away from home in the league all season. So not sure about it.
I think their goal, especially we spoke about their goal. The way it went in, I think, Gillingham. Yeah, I think the way it went in didn't help the mood at all. But yeah, I thought about it in first half, to be honest. So I disagree.
Okay, fair enough. You're in the minority, but I don't mind. That's football. Isn't it?
When am I not?
You don't like being in the minority.
I disagree with Mick's comment about Smith getting man at match. I think there was someone else that deserved it.
Oh, go on then.
I said Ferguson.
Ferguson got. You think he deserved man at match?
No, I said he should have been on the list.
Oh well, Reg should have been ahead of him.
That's a fair shout. Let's have a quick Reg praise before we have some praise on somebody else. That clearance, Mick, in first half. I can't remember which before our goal or what, but that clearance when it comes from nowhere.
that Matt Sunday like tackle.
It was Matt Sunday like. Yeah.
No, I had a feeling that would come in. Good grief.
Yeah. He said it to me at the time, and he's absolutely right. That's exactly what it was. He was immense yesterday. Listen, all three of them were at the back. I thought Icky had an absolutely outstanding game. Yeah, with the exception of the goal, if you take that out of it, for the remainder of the game.
Icky was good, apart from couldn't keep the ball in play.
First half.
10 bob head, weren't it? 10 bob head.
10 bob head in first half. But as a back three, I thought they were excellent yesterday. Yeah. But Reg was definitely, was he the standout out of the three of them? Woody playing his pearl?
Reg has got to be.
Defensively, we're outstanding, brilliant. I just hope that we've got some sort of agreement with Huddersfield that we can keep hold of him. It would be great if we were able to. If we're not, then we're going to have to rely on. Wes Harding. Oh dear, You know what I mean? It's hardly a big deal, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was brilliant. The talk is that we have essentially a gentleman's agreement that Huddersfield don't want him back. And unless somebody's going to put silly money in, why would they sell him?
Yeah.
Because you're only going to sell him to a championship club who they don't want to strengthen at this time of the season. So
I think with the whole like I say, the gentleman's agreement with Huddersfield, I think the deal suits both parties so well that there's no reason to justify Reg being recalled, because he's at a top end League One club, virtually starting every single time.
Yeah.
Apart from when he's injured, effectively. So he's getting a lot of minutes under his belt, and Huddersfield have done that to make sure he's a certified first team player for them, which he was more or less last season, but he was sort of on the fringes. So their manager's obviously gone, oh, rather want to take him on loan, right? He'll more or less play every game. That's a given. So send him there for the season, comes back, much better defender for championship level, and then he goes straight into our back line. Easy as that. Well, so I think that's why there's no real reason for him to recall him, unless, like I say, someone puts in silly money for him. I do think he will be with us after January. I mean, I hope he is anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll want to move either, because I mean, Huddersfield's what, 40 minutes. He can still, if he's from London, so he'll have moved up, and him coming on loan here, he don't have to move again, really, does he?
No,
staying Huddersfield, just drive. So yeah, I don't think.
I think the one player we can definitely say will be with us probably next season is Victor. Bear in mind, he's just bought a house up this end. You know, you won't buy a house if you're planning to go somewhere else next season, would you?
No, that's a good point. Let's talk about the second goal properly before we talk on the last performance, individual performance. It's a really nice bit of football, Danny. The cross is really lovely and measured, and it's not an easy header for Smith, and he does really well to get right in the corner.
Yeah, he does. And just a quick mention to Chio's run that he does before his cross, a run that he does at least 3 times every single game. But the only difference this time is that he's hit it as sweet as a nut, and Smith's got his header on it. Now, Smith has actually ducked down to head it, so I think if he'd have tried to volley it, he'd have missed it. And sometimes it's down to the striker to convert the cross rather than the cross being created itself. So we've seen from Chio, he creates that chance more or less every game, but he's sometimes down to the attacker to finish it. And Smith's measured it perfectly, got his head on it and scored. And I don't know if you've watched the vlog or anything like that, but I lose my portable charge over the side at railing. And what she was just like, excuse me, she goes, oh yeah, thanks, pal. I lost it twice. Both times we scored, it went flying out my pocket, and now I have to find somewhere else to keep it now. But yes, Smith's goal and Chio's cross sort of complemented each other in the quality. And now it'll keep the 72 quiet about Chio's assisting ability. Even though, right, I did a bit of looking up. Yes, he only has 1 assist in the league now. But he's also got an assist in the FA Cup. And technically, he's got an assist for winning a penalty, because if you win a penalty, you're technically given the assist.
Okay.
At least on the data site I was looking at. So technically, if you win the penalty, you get given the assist. Obviously, you can't assist a penalty in play, but they sort of give you the assist if you've won the penalty, because you're the one who's contributed to it. But they don't give the assist if the penalty winner takes the penalty. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think Chio won the penalty against Fleetwood that Sadlier took. So that's why they've sort of given him the assist for it. In the same way that Icky technically got the assist for Barlas's penalty against Gillingham.
Okay.
So technically, Chio has 3 this season, technically, but only one of them technically in open play in the league. But, maybe it'll give him a bit more of an eye for a good cross, and hopefully we see him get more assists, and he can then be the player on paper that we see him with our own eyes during a game.
Yeah, hopefully. And it was a great moment, mate. We've not really had one of those moments that New York get this season. Most games have been quite comfortable. This was the first one where it was the relief when it went in was apparent for everybody, and it made a great noise when we went in.
It did, absolutely. The atmosphere up to that point was excellent. I thought the atmosphere throughout the game were excellent. Both sets of fans did really, really well, and like you said, that was probably the first goal of the season where there's been some relief sort of mixed in with the joy of it. So I'm assuming that we won't be hearing any moans and groans about Chio this week from our own supporters, and fingers crossed will not be. Well, we don't want these people talking about Chio, do we? We don't want people alerting other clubs to how good he is.
Not until at least March.
Not at all. Full stop. Full stop. But anyway.
Final point I have on this game is the man that sort of changed the game. Ben, we had a conversation on Thursday or Friday, whenever we talked last.
I was hoping this had come up.
What I should have done is clip the conversation and put it into the podcast, but I'm just going to basically say what I said was that if you need to play Sadlier at a number 10, he cannot play a wing back, and if you play Kieran Sadlier as number 10, or certainly an advanced midfielder, he will play well. And you disagreed.
Yeah.
Would you like to change your comments?
I would like to take back what I said. In my defense, until yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, until yesterday, I hadn't seen really anything from Sadlier. I thought he played well.
Really well.
I thought he played really well. That's it. I think he played really well. He did. What's the word? He played with less discipline, if that makes sense.
That's exactly the point.
I don't know what the word is. Expressive? More freedom. Trying things. Some of it didn't work. Some of it did. That little back heel to whoever it was.
That were incredible.
He was just all over the place, wasn't he? I think he played well. I think he played really well. So I take back what I said.
Good man. Josh Smith agrees. Been Sadler's biggest critic this season. Fair play to him. He changed the game yesterday. Would bring him in for Wiles. Clearly, he's resting, like you said, Mick. Looked shattered after 50 minutes. Gav Wood also mentions the Ramos Rocket looks spent, so he might get decent in the team now. Yeah, it was. Sadly, was. We might be wrong. It looked like a slight change in formation, though, Mick, when Sadlier came on. Because before we'd been playing 3 at the back, and then Barlaser, and then Wiles, and then Rathbone, and then basically Wiles, almost in a straight line. Not as simple as that. But yes, but when he came on, it was also like Barlaser and Rathbone went as a central standard 2. And Sadlier was clearly in front of them. It wasn't, there was no mixture of the lines, were it?
No.
And it worked. He had so much freedom. He had all that space to move into. He was able to link the play together. He did everything that we wanted him to do and that we know he can do. I know he can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because we've said before, and the number of times we've talked about Kieran Sadlier on this podcast and said that when he comes on, he's just trying too hard. He's clearly trying too hard. He's trying to do this. He's trying to do that. For some reason, yesterday, he came on as a completely different player. He just relaxed.
Yes.
He just relaxed. And it was, people have said it, and it's just been said there, he changed the game. And he did change the game. It gave us something else in midfield that we'd not had. And we'd not had it because of Wilesy being off it. You know, whether it's tiredness, confidence, whatever it is, you know, but he came on and created what Ben Wiles can create when he's on form, on song. Brilliant. I thought he had a brilliant performance for the 20 minutes he were on, and it's great to see because we know he can do it. Except Ben, obviously, the rest of us know he can do it, and it's really good. It's really good for us. It's really good for him. Hopefully, he might get a bit of a run in the team and keep doing it. And if he does, then Wiles is going to have to scrap for his place back.
Yeah. No, definitely. Danny, we've talked about Sadlier a lot on this podcast because we've seen what he can do, but it's only 20 minutes. It's only a 60-second minute, so it's only actually half an hour he's played. So we can't get too carried away. But that was the first signs of what we were promised when he signed almost.
Yeah, and to be fair, I do think it is the best half an hour that he has played.
Yeah.
Certainly with crowds in the stadium anyway. Like Mick said, he just seemed to relax when he came on. I don't know if it's been something they've worked on in training just for him to relax a little bit whilst he's on the pitch or during phases of play or what. But the way he came on, it was just so chilled out but he also had his own confidence just to try little sneaky things, to fake out the shots, to try that back heel, which, oh my days, that were incredible. Just that little touch, back heel, and you played in Chio. Oh my days, fair play to him. But yeah, like you say, he's come on, he's relaxed, he's not trying too hard to try and break into the team. He's just sort of looked at the situation like, all right, it's my job to go on and create something. And he's come on and he's played incredibly well. So all I can say is fair play to Sadlier. And I think he's also disproven a lot of rumours about him leaving in January. Because even I'll say, the way he was playing and the way he was not being utilised, shall we say, he probably would have benefited from a loan out somewhere. However, if he is going to offer that in games now where we are able to switch the system, we are able to play a different way in midfield, which we all said was one of our main negatives at the Accrington game. They just matched up our midfield and stopped us playing. But if we've got that outlet to switch the midfield, to go from Barlaser as your quarterback, and then the midfield in front of him, to have the midfield's flat line behind Sadlier in like a midfield triangle. If we've got that outlet now with Sadlier and he's able to play like he did against Bolton, that changes our game completely for the rest of the season. And I really hope Sadlier takes the confidence that he's probably got from this game, takes it forward and applies it to any other game that he comes on in a sub or starts in. So, Kieran, if you're watching, probably not, but if you are, well done, mate. Fair play. Fair
Top
play.
Performance.
Yeah, well. Sam took Sadlier, a tough decision with him in January. Rumored he wants out because he wants to play. Understandable. Playing him in his correct number 10 role can be some player. Continues. He has to be kept. He's got the ability and gives them an option when we need to mix it up. Yeah, for me, it's not a tough decision. He goes nowhere. We can't let him go because he is just something different. And like Danny just mentioned, he gives us the option to change it up. I think one of the, maybe I'm just guessing, one of the reasons we haven't seen him is because he doesn't want to lose out on what Barlaser gives us. We didn't lose that yesterday. Barlaser was still able to continue playing his almost quarterback role while Sadlier was on the pitch. So if you get best of both worlds, off we go.
It was almost a diamond in midfield, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because Lindsay, I know Lindsay came on later in the game for Rathbone. But like you say, there was Barlaser, Wiles and Rathbone almost in like the straight line. And then it sort of moved itself into that triangle. And then with the wing backs, it was an interesting tactical change. We've not really seen Warney make a tactical change to the formation. We've sort of just stuck with the 3-5-2 throughout the game. But to have not the confidence, but the knowledge to do that when you are slightly on the back foot, I think also proves that Warney is a much better manager than he was in probably last season in the Championship as well. He's still got that desire to win the game, but he's willing to now roll the dice on a formation change to get that. And like we say, Sadly goes nowhere. If he's got that outlet, he stays. Absolutely. He stays and comes on as an impact sub or starts a game if Wiles or Rathbone are slightly off it. So yeah, it's effectively a new signing because now we've found how we can utilise Sadlier properly, and now we can just crack on with it.
The thing is, as well, Danny, as you point out there, it did change the formation slightly or change the setup slightly, but it was very subtle. It wasn't it wasn't a custard pie, 3-5-1 to 4-4-2. It was a very subtle, almost undetectable change in the way that we were playing.
The custard pie to face is very obvious, isn't it? It's an obvious trick.
Oh, come on, keep up, Ben. Which again is sort of another indication that Warney and the team are progressing and developing as coaches. So now brilliant, really great to see him play like that yesterday. Really, really pleased for him and us, obviously.
Yeah, well, it's been one of the things that has been rightly thrown at Paul Warne is that can be quite rigid, tactically rigid during the games, and he's showing now that he has options and can do it. So it's not just him; that's obviously Barker, I'm sure as well. A birthday to Matt, I'm sure as well.
Yeah, birthday to him.
So many happy returns and all that. We've got to give credit for all three substitutions. To be honest with you, Ben. I talked about Sadlier coming on. JJ came on the 72nd minute, and Lindsay came on 90th minute and did okay. But Let's talk about JJ for briefly. Again, he didn't score, but his work rate's there. And he starts attacks, whereas Freddie wasn't doing that yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, mate. Moving on.
He tackled their player, didn't he? And he drew up from it. And he's a good player. He's going to be a good player. For me, I think him or Grigg plays next week.
Tuesday.
When's next league game? No, when's the proper game?
A week on Saturday.
15th of January next league one.
For me, then a week on Saturday, 15th, I think him or Grigg plays. I think he deserves it. My only worry is that him and Smith might not gel. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to see. Because has he started a game yet? I don't think he started, has he?
He started against... Did he start against Morecambe?
Can't remember.
Ooh, he might have done.
Matt started one.
So
yeah,
I think he starts.
Gav would mention another good point. Played a hell of a lot better against Santos. Was just to try to be just as physical, unlike Freddie, who didn't want to go anywhere near him. I think that's a good point. JJ is not scared to go get involved in those battles, whereas Freddie, it's not Freddie's game to be involved in those battles. So it's not a dig at Freddie. No. He just can't do it. There's no point Freddie getting involved in that battle because he's going to get put in his backside 9 times out of 10, isn't he? Michael Fairbank, there you go. Wigan away. Yeah. And also, this was just a side point which people like. As soon as the substitution was warming up, as soon as JJ get called to go get stripped off, the first person to go shake his hand to, I assume, say good luck to Will Grigg, which is a sign of the squad. Grigg would have been gutted not to come on the pitch because it was an option. But for him to just go say, "What, check his hand and good luck," whatever, shows the sign of the squad you've got as well. Just a side point which a lot of people might not have noticed. I think we're just about done with the game. Is there anything else that we've not mentioned? I'm sure there is. I think we've covered quite a lot from that game. Anything else, Nick? I was trying to mention their tactics now, but it's a bit of a concern. We struggle with those tactics.
I don't see point we're talking about it. I mean, it's just embarrassing, isn't it? It is embarrassing.
It's a concern, isn't it?
Well, there's two parts to it, isn't there? You know, I get slowing the game down a little bit. You know, keeping possession of the ball, etc., etc. But you know, I mean, Afolainen spent most of his time on his backside being treated by by physio as he did doing anything else, and he's clearly a good player. You know, the goalkeeper went down for that save and then stayed down. I have never seen anything like that in all my life. How he could possibly claim to have been injured? Did he fall on a brick or something? You know, we're not playing on wreck on a Sunday morning, are we? You know what I mean? There's not some bottle left there from somebody out on last night before. I don't know what he were doing. Those sorts of tactics, they're just as bad as diving, aren't they? They're just cheating. You know, if you haven't got the ability to play the game and to match up with the team, I don't know. I don't get it. But the manager's nailed his colour to mast earlier on in week, hasn't he? You know, and like I said earlier on, I think there's some headline in some Bolton paper somewhere where he's called yesterday's game dangerous because of the issues with player welfare. You don't know what he's talking about.
He does. He's deflecting.
He does. They've got best team in the league, mate. What are you on about?
Oh, that chant was funny when we got that going. Oh, my days.
I rest my case.
He's got best team in the league and he's having to Wickhamers. I mean, he's a great manager. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
He's deflected. The 16th in league, having spent, all right, they've spent millions and millions, but they've spent a fair amount certainly on wages and things like that.
When did they not?
They just bought Dion Charles
from
Accrington for 300 or 400 grand. So
is that confirmed now then?
Yes, they confirmed the morning of the game. Didn't sign the time game. But that's at least 300 grand they've spent on Dion Charles, plus the wages that he would want. He's defeating the 16th in league. That's not good enough for what they're doing. One more topic, which is definitely worth mentioning. Gav Wood mentions it. Exit strategy. Richard Dimbleby. Club need to look at the existing ground. Yesterday was a joke. That I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I came out, that 900 Bolton fans were allowed to walk down New York Way whilst 9,000 nearly 9,000 Rotherham fans had to be squashed down a steep embankment. down a narrow exit way. I don't know whose strategy this is. Me and Mick have spoke to people who work in the police. They claim it's not them. I think the clubs say it's not them. I don't know who has made this decision, but it is stupid.
I think we all know, don't we? I think we all know who's pretty much responsible for this, the whole debacle of this, the cause of it, the root cause of it.
We know the root cause of it, yeah.
Yeah, we're building a bridge that could have been built for the 18-month stadium were empty and started building it when people go back into the stadium. The same people are responsible for the safety around that area, as far as I can see. I'm not convinced it's a club issue. I'm not convinced it's a police issue.
It's a club issue. No.
I suspect both the club and the police will have an input into it. But yeah, this is dangerous. This is dangerous.
Safety advisories group. It's a safety. What they call?
It's something to do with council, isn't it? It's something to do with council. But I don't know. But it is dangerous, and it does need to be addressed. Thankfully, hopefully, I would suggest, I don't think we're going to have any more clubs visiting New York who are going to bring
Wigan.
particular. Well, we've got Wigan, so that's going to be an issue as well.
Maybe Ipswich a Good Friday.
Yeah, possibly. But you never know. I was going to say the council might have finished building the bridge by then.
No.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking about next season. I apologise because it'll still be in place next season. It, in all seriousness, needs to be looked at. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. There's no question about it. And just common sense. Anybody with half an ounce of common sense can see that that's going to cause a problem at some stage.
I think it's one of them things where they won't act on it until something bad happens.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately is what council
Then they'll blame club or police for it, won't they? Then, because that's what will happen.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
Yeah.
What do you think the problem is? Like, what are you annoyed about? Like,
The problem is that 900 Bolton fans were fenced off from the 9,000-ish, 8,900. They were fenced off from us, but they had more run of the open, exit strategy, if you like. And then the Rotherham fans were almost caged in. Like there was a line of fencing going up New York Way. There were a line of fencing to stop people going down Grass Verge. The more accessible Grass Verge, I might add, that goes down onto the little slip road into the council's car park. So we just sort of all just funneled that way. And to have 9,000 people who, some of them are very unsteady on the feet. And
it's a steep drop that as well.
It's a steep drop. It's wet. It's a Grass Verge, so it gets muddy. To have just people funneled that way in the majority of the fans isn't the right exit strategy. The right exit strategy is to stop the Bolton fans leaving in vast numbers, all at once up New York Way, keep New York Way open a little bit more at the top, and then you can have people exiting two ways. But to have just one exit open for 8,900 people is a health and safety hazard. Granted, it's not helped by the fact that the council said the bridge would be done in October, and we're now in January. That's not helped the situation at all. But it might nudge the club to explore the possibility of building a bridge over the river, over the South Stand into that part of town. So then you've got just the two fans going separate ways. It doesn't help the fact that Bolton are a fan base that like to try and rough up the other fan base, shall we say. So that's why the fencing was up. But to have nearly 9,000 people bottleneck through a car park that isn't actually owned by the club, you need to ask the question of the council, well, why didn't you provide a different exit strategy? Why is there just one there? And I know we technically can't hold away fans back now because it's a new law that's coming and it's against human rights.
Jesus,
okay. Okay. But to have 900 people have the run of an entire road going up there when there is a very sizable car park and a very thin line just to go, just wait a minute, We'll just let everybody else go first, and then you can go. Most of the away buses are in that car park, I might add.
Yeah.
So it's even less people going up that road. So you can just wait here just a little bit, let all of them lot clear first, and then you can go in back to train station or whatever. But no, it was silly. The bottleneck to get down there was silly. It was like being in the old pens in the terracing, or at least from what I could see. From what I could see, like the amount of bodies that were going down that road, it was silly. If someone had fallen in that, and it was dark as well, lighting's poor as well, I might add. If someone had fallen and not seen, Lord knows what would have happened to him. So thankfully, no one's come out of it injured, and they're lucky, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, they are. And like Gavin mentioned, dark, dangerous, poor footing. Obviously, a potential COVID issue as well. They've been so close together all the way to staying together in it. But yeah, issues. And I don't know, I'm sure the council won't listen to this, but it needs sorting. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
The council won't do anything about it, you know that.
And then when something bad happens, they'll blame club for it.
Utterly pointless. Utterly pointless.
Yeah. Chris Wright, quicker doing the bridge over the River Kwai. We should bring. Anyway. Moving on. We have 2 or 3 minutes on Crewe game, but then we've got a couple other things to talk about. Crewe Alexandra on Tuesday night, our first ever meeting in the Football League Trophy with Crewe Alexandra. Danny will be one of the very, very few, I imagine, that are going. Have you got any numbers for us, Danny?
Well, all I can say is that the one bus that's going from all the away day groups is the Kimmy Park bus, and we've currently got 32 on it. So if anyone decides to come late, please book on with Kimmy Park. We are picking up in town at about 10 to 4. So yeah, please book on that if you are deciding to go. But yeah, if there's 50 there, I'm surprised.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, it will be. Who's going to play, Mick? You know that Bowler is probably going to play because Ferguson is not going to play and Miller's probably out for a week or so. So Bowler's going to be in there. You'd assume Sadlier will play. You're going to see Grigg in there. Vickers going to play. What are we going to take from the game, Mick, is what I'm trying to ask, from the change that we'll make?
I don't know. You know my view on Peter Trophy. I just wish we weren't in it. I do, honestly. We're going to get some game time for some of the players that are not getting first team minutes at the moment. So as many changes as he can make out, from the squad to get some game time into the legs of, Hakeem Adoffin and JJ and Lindsay and so on and so forth and Teleji Bowler as well. Get these lads some game time because they need it, they deserve it, and they are going to be called upon in first team at some stage. So, we make the best of it and rest as many of the regular first teamers that have been regulars so far. Get them as much rest as possible. So yeah, we've just got to use it to our benefit, and it doesn't really matter whether we win or lose, does it?
No, not really. 3 games from Wembley. If that adds a slightly better spin on it.
I suppose. Yeah.
Danny, anything else you want to add from the game? Oh, one good thing to mention. That's a good thing. Ref watch.
Oh, yeah.
We have Rotherby. I think this is Rotherby's first ever female referee is scheduled to take charge of the game.
Very good.
Rebecca Welch is scheduled to the referee. This was announced during Christmas, so there's always chances that it could be changed for one reason or another. But that's a bit of history for us.
Just on that note, I'd just like to, and I know for a fact, and I can't remember why, I was a very vocal critic of Jeff Eltringham last season. I can't remember who he refed us against the Championship, but he was garbage. I nearly swore then. He was garbage. I thought he had a really good game yesterday. Again, the ref, I thought he took charge of the game really well. That's just me.
He certainly took charge of Ian Everett, we'll say that.
Well, exactly. It could have been a little bit. It could have been a little bit better or a little bit quicker in the time wasting. But other than that, I thought he was pretty fair, pretty decent, pretty consistent. I
disagree. I thought his management of the time wasting was a complete joke.
Well, but that seems to be the way that they do it. All referees. All referees are the same. And he didn't wait until 85 minutes to book their goalkeeper. He did it on 67 minutes. So
so we're that much difference.
no, I agree. I accept that. But with the exception of that, like I said when I started talking, with the exception of his management at the time wasting, I thought he had a decent game. Credit where credit's due for me, and I am going to criticise some in the future. So let's, when they do a good job, I think we should be pointing it out, and that's my view anyway.
He took charge of Santos going down thinking he's won a free kick, and then he just handballs it before it goes out for a corner, and so he's just gone, no, that's silly, yellow card. So yeah, I do actually agree with you, Mick. I think in terms of managing the time wasting, he could have been a bit sharper.
Yeah.
But like you say, you could say that about nearly every referee in EFL. But in terms of fairness to both sides, consistency, it was all right, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's always been worse.
Yeah.
Danny, anything to add on the Crewe game before we come on to the hilarious South Yorkshire clubs?
It's sort of fitted in well timeline-wise that we've now officially announced our partnership with Her Game 2. Yes, it has been in the works for a long time, so I'm told by Abby, who is one of our club representatives for Her Game 2. It has been in the works for a while. Yeah, I think she is. I think she is, yeah. But she certainly reps the Rotherhamshire on their awareness video as well. Ben's gone. But it has been in the works for a while. But now, through various means, it couldn't be officially done. But now it's official, which is fantastic, because any sort of sexism in the stands and on the pitch towards female referees isn't really just in the modern game. And it's fitted well that we've now got our first female referee for the Crewe game. And as we've seen, a lot of the time, the female refs are more competent than the blokes. They seem to be a lot fairer. And the best thing is they don't take any stick from the players at all. As soon as they say a bad word to them, they're in book, which is brilliant to see. Because, again, referees do get a lot of abuse, full stop. But now that female refs are becoming a lot more prominent in the men's professional game, you sort of go, what sort of abuse will they get from the players, And it turns out none, because they book them anyway, which is fantastic. I don't think we've had female linos before, haven't we?
Yeah, we've had some dodgy ones against Hull a few years ago.
Yeah. You've not let that one go, have you, Matt?
Never will.
but no, it is good to see that we've now come into the bubble of having a female main official on the pitch, which is great. And the final note on the Crewe game, this is rumour, speculation, whatever you want to call it, but the rumour is that Big Tony is gunning for the EFL trophy coming to Rotherham this season. That's the rumour I've heard. So just don't be surprised if we go a little bit suspiciously strong against Crewe. Again, it's all rumour, it's all speculation. I don't know how true this is, because obviously I don't have Big Tony in my contacts book in my phone. Not yet, anyway. But yeah, the rumour has it is that we are gunning for the double this season, whether it's the EFL trophy and the promotion trophy, the EFL trophy and the playoff trophy, or the league title. We want to do some sort of double this season, which, is great ambition.
Why not?
Yeah, you have to credit it, don't you? But yeah, so that's the rumour I've heard on the grapevine, anyway.
Yeah, and it's also a good time to play the game, because you can take one of the next two games seriously. Really, we've got Crewe and QPR. You can let go with one of them. You don't need to be in both. Although if we would stay in both, that's lovely. But it's a good time to have this game. So yeah, hopefully so. We'll not do any predictions, but we'll talk about this on Thursday. When we come back Thursday, we'll do a slight review of this before we look ahead to the FA Cup on Saturday. Like I mentioned earlier, there were no other South Yorkshire teams playing on Saturday, but they made up for it on Sunday. We'll leave the big one. I'll start with the big one. Go on then. Oh, poor little Johnny Rovers. I mean,
all together now. 1, 2, 3, 4.
They were within 29. Anybody's not aware, Doncaster Rovers were in 29 minutes 3-0 up away at Morecambe. Just appointed their brand new manager, who is the cheap option, who needs a mentor, by the way. 3-0 up, 29 minutes away at Morecambe. struggling Morecambe as well. Morecambe have been in a terrible run of form. And it all went badly after half-time. Cole Stockton got 2, Jonathan Obika got 1, and former Miller, Diego Ara, got the 4th goal in the 85th minute to complete a complete turnaround. Oh, Mick, it's just... I'm going to say it would, but it's almost funny because if it weren't sad, but it's just funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is. It is. I don't have a massive problem with Donny. I never have had.
Still funny.
I almost found myself getting involved on social media when their fans were moaning about Mike Sheffrey getting the job. I think it's a good move for him, and yeah, it'll be hard, and yeah, it's going to be difficult. But you've got somebody with something to prove rather than some journeyman who's been to every club in Football League and wants $5,000 a week to tell everybody.
I'm not being sensible here.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, it is funny. Let's be fair. It's funny to be 3-0 up, thinking you've got it won and everything else because it's not us. It's funny, but I don't have a problem with Donny. I think the other result's funnier, to be honest. The other result for me, I think, is just.
I think the last two results combined together of the other one make it twice as funny, in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah, they do.
Look, listen. Shrewsbury Town won Sheffield Wednesday. The massive, huge Sheffield Wednesday 0. Shrewsbury Town we're talking about here. We're not talking about Sunderland, who managed to put 5 past them, or anybody else. We're talking about Shrewsbury Town, a club probably as big as, probably as Tin Pot as we are. You know what I mean? And yet they got there and they still can't get a result.
I watched bits of the game. I didn't watch it all. I made a mistake in not watching the Donny game, and Wednesday were bad. They were really bad. They had nothing about them. They had no ideas.
How can they be that bad with the best midfielder in world in their ranks? How is that possible?
When I watched it because I was interested in Lewis Wing. Lewis Wing's sitting quite deep. Why would you do that? If you watched him play for us last season, he needed a free role, didn't he? He needed not a free role, but let him be progressive. But because they got Bannon.
Once he played as an attacking midfielder for us.
Yeah. It was
deep. I said that when he went to him.
Yeah.
I said they weren't going to get along.
Yeah.
By the sounds right now, the birds have come home to roost. It sounds like Wednesday signing Lewis Wing was pure. Well, again, it's all rumour and speculation, but it sounds like it was more of a put down to us, to use the polite terminology, in signing Lewis Wing. Like, we can pay full wage, you can't. Well, now we've got him. But it's for Wing. For Wing, it must be quite. Well, it will be frustrating, but to go from playing really well on loan at one club in the Championship to playing, I'll say it, atrociously for another club in League One, it must be quite disheartening for him. And the worst thing is, he knows that even if he was to be recalled by Middlesbrough, which he nearly was for their game against Sheffield United until it got called off, it must just be very upsetting for him. And the fact that all Wednesday fans are now saying, we should have dropped him off on the way back from Sunderland and this, that, and other. I am starting to feel a bit sorry for him. It was funny to begin with, but now it's like, he's not being utilised correctly.
I'll have him back.
They don't. They could have dropped him off on way past from Sunderland, but they don't come past Rotherham, do they? Double agent Wing is doing the job, and that's what they obviously don't realise and recognise. The other guy there at Salisbury, but a bit too subtle for them, really. That
I think because it's Neil Warnock. Remember, it was Neil Warnock who initially sent him on loan to Sheff Wednesday. It's all Warnock's doing. I swear. Neil Warnock has played some sort of hand card and gone, yes. Perfect. They would utilise him as a central, as a defensive midfielder, and it'll screw him. But in all fairness to Sheff Wednesday, to give them the credit, they have only lost one more game than us this season. But they've drawn 10 games, which is the most in the league. So they're at that level. but they're just not winning them. That's the thing. I said it when they were on the unbeaten run. They only won 5 of their unbeaten run. You know, and they're just not winning games. And I've seen on my Snapchat, because I am mates with a lot of Chef Wednesday fans, I will admit, they are giving Darren Moore some stick. And I said this to him, you've jumped the gun signing him from Doncaster. You should have given him a full season to work whatever magic he's got at Doncaster and then base a decision, but they've jumped the gun on it. And I think now
that is it.
And now it has come back and bit him a little bit, which if it was us, you'd hate to see it. Because it's a Chef Wednesday, it's a bit more of a smirk, isn't it?
It is a bit of a smirk. I think we'll finish there. So it's always good to finish on a high note, isn't it? So let's finish on that one. Thank you all for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe on the channel that you're watching. Give us a thumbs up on the video. If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, make sure you follow and subscribe and give us a 5-star rating if you haven't already. We will be back on Thursday evening live for the YouTube, and the podcast will be out Friday morning for the audio, which will be, as mentioned, a review of the Crewe game and a preview of what is going to be the QPR game. Who knows with COVID, these things change. We'll keep an eye out on all for what any changes that we're doing there. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, follow us on there. We're 800 followers now. Just tipped over that for the new year. So thank you everybody who has followed us on there. Happy New Year. I hope everybody's had a good one. Ben, this is the last time we'll see you on the podcast for a few weeks, unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sad times.
When will you be back, Ben? When are you going to be back with us?
I don't know.
Okay, then. Fair enough.
Brilliant.
Thanks for that.
Cool. Danny, you'll be back on Thursday, won't you?
Oh yes, of course I will. Unless something very, very drastic happens, I'll be here Thursday.
Excellent. And Mick, you'll be back Thursday, won't you?
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Excellent. Thank you all for watching. It's been beautiful, and we'll see you Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie's fairly shoot. Can they go shot? Yeah!